This is pretty nice this morning, but it's supposed to get pretty crazy this afternoon with some bad weather.
So that's kind of typical for us. So I think that the last time we fished, it blew, what, 30? And lightning storms for part of the day.
I've tried to erase that from my mind, but yeah, it was exactly like that. In fact, we had to hide behind just a few long points to even be able to fish. It like cut our fishing zone down to about 10% of the lagoon, but here we are back in the lagoon. And we've got good weather at least for the first half.
Looks like it, yeah.
So, and I'm with you, of course, so we'll probably have like, what, 15, 16, 17 fish before lunch.
A couple 8-pound trout. And,
that's what I would expect.
Nothing less.
Yeah, after the conversation we had yesterday about planning this thing, wondering what the timing of the front was going to be, I think we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, it looks like we're we have a while before it comes, but you know how they get the pre-front days like this, they should be snappy.
Yeah.
That's
usually gonna get windy quick.
Yep.
So maybe you would get out there and get her done quick.
I like that idea.
Yeah, instead of having to endure the elements like last time.
Yes.
So let's do that, see how it happens. This week, we're in Mosquito Lagoon over on the east coast of Florida fishing with my old friend, Captain Scott Maccalla. Now, Scott and I have been friends for a long time, and we've both been at Hells Bay Boat Works, it seems like forever. He also guides out in Louisiana, so we always have a lot of stuff to catch up on. And when I wanted to come over and shoot mosquito after doing that show with Justin Price last year, I definitely wanted to shoot one with Scott Maccalla. So we hit the water, and good things started happening right away. There he is.
There he is.
It's a good trout.
What kind of called that? Oh, look at the redfish school over here on the left.
Man.
Trout interrupting our red fishing. Looks like a pretty decent one though.
That's a good trout. Good trout.
It's nice. It's sitting where I thought he would be sitting. Put the power pole down.
Well, that did not take long.
Oh, that was pretty quick.
That did not take long at all, and that's a
nice
pretty good trout.
Two things I love. I love tarpon fishing and trout fishing.
I love trout fishing.
That's a nice
one.
On.
Nice and smooth. Your trout looks so different. Not as many dots on them like ours. Look at that.
That'll work.
That's a different looking trout.
There's no spots on him.
Yeah. Almost spotless on one side.
Thinks he's a wheat fish.
Crazy.
Got it. You want to do the honors?
Let's see if I can carefully take this out.
Nothing better. He's ready. That wasn't very graceful.
Well, you make it look easy. I mean, I don't even think I made 6 or 7 casts and we were already hooked up. That was awesome. That was a first spot. And then as we're hooked up and it's just surging on the rod, then we lifted up a small group of redfish. So looks promising early on.
I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think that, you know, at least for redfish, they like stable weather. They don't like changes up and down. The trout handle the changes a little bit better. They like that falling barometer, but I don't.
Sight fish predator, that's why.
Yeah, they you know, I think, you know, these redfish like to gangle around and kind of get comfortable where they want to be, and then they graze more than, you know, like a, you know, I think a trout, you know, so they ambush feed, so, you know, it's good for us. That's a good way to start. See if we can keep it up.
All right. Six, 7, 8, 10 years ago, I had given up on Mosquito Lagoon. very little grass left, and it was a mud hole. I can't even say it nicely. It was just a mud hole. I'd gone over there several times. The fish would flip, and it was just, no one was fishing anymore because fishing was so tough. You couldn't see fish. A good day was catching a few fish. But I will tell you this, the last 2 or 3 seasons that I've gone over there, since Justin and Scotty have shared with me that things are coming back, the grass is coming back, fish are coming back, and it's fishable now, it is stellar. I'm just letting you know. It is a cool place to fish. You still gotta be careful, and we still gotta really codify that fishery, if you will, to make sure or ensure that it stays this way. I think we learned some valuable lessons by not listening to the lagoon. You know, it talks to you, it'll tell you. But it also tells you that it's very resilient. And if you do a few things the right way, she bounces back. And right now, she's looking pretty damn good. There he is.
There we go. That's head shaking.
That might be Mr. Trout.
Looks like a trout.
That's my guy there.
Well,
gotta love that.
It's a 50-50 guess, right? It's gonna be either trout or redfish. We've seen a few.
It's a red, it's small, but if I'm hoping it's a big trout.
It's acting more like a trout to me. But
he's wanting to get me to the wood here.
I've been wrong. I'm trying to push up past it to keep him out there. What you got?
It's a trout.
Oh, better one.
It's a nice trout. It is a nice trout.
Let me hop down for you. I'll put the poles down.
This one is so freckled. Wow.
A little bit better.
Nice. Good looking fish.
There you go. Ate it. Good job, CA.
What in the? Here we go. Here's some right here.
Perfect cast.
Damn it, man. That might get him.
That might work. Come on, fish.
Following it. Following it.
Turn off of it. It's following it and then turn away. Come on, fish.
So much of shallow water fishing is affected by tide height, by current, and by atmospheric conditions. Well, many of you don't know this, but in Mosquito Lagoon, there's not a lot of current. In fact, in most places in Mosquito Lagoon, there is zero current. So you can't play that. You have to play wind current. The wind moves the zooplankton and the phytoplankton, which brings fish to one side or the other of that lagoon. And the tide height fluctuates with the water table. So, and how much rainfall you've had. So it's a different fishery that way, but they are immensely affected by atmospheric conditions. And the day that we were fishing with Scotty, we had like 30.2 something barometric pressure, which was just making these fish tough to catch, period. In the morning, we were doing really well with bites, and then toward the end of the day, we were rocking them again. But in the middle of the day, even though we had wind and we had a few things going for us, it was so tough. I mean, tough. And it crossed my mind more than once or twice that, you know what, I should really let just Scotty catch these fish, because these fish here were busting my bleep. They were killing me. I mean, killing me. The secret sauce to my success has always been I'm just persistent and I just work harder than everybody else. And that was not working. It wasn't working.
I think I have one tailing up here in the grass.
These are tailors here, right here.
Good spot, good spot. Got him. Good job, CA.
You were right, they were reds.
Look at them all pushing around.
I got enough rods on the deck. Feel like we're bass fishing.
I feel like we've been in that bass mode, trying to figure out what they want to bite. But that jig has definitely been the ticket.
Yeah, little bugs. We've thrown everything though today, when you think about it. Little
Yep.
miridines,
Yep.
little gobies, little neds, swim baits, but
Lots of things.
one of my favorite lures when the chips are down and it's just tough to catch fish. I don't care where I am. It works especially well in shallower areas and in zones where you have pretty clear water. And that would have to be the Bug's Jig. Now the Bug's Jig is different. It's not your average bucktail jig. It actually has more of a zonker tail, more of a rabbit fur body, which allows that bait, even when it's not moving, the hair is kind of just always just breathing. Whether you're just reeling it slowly or I like to take 2 or 3 cranks and stop, and it just gives it this little slow hop where it makes contact with the bottom. And on tough fish, I'm telling you, that bait produces.
Look at that little jig in his face. I like it.
Little Bug's Jig. It's amazing how soft those things land. You know?
I'm really impressed with it.
Well,
It's like the closest thing to fly fishing.
it's the closest thing you're gonna come to fly fishing.
Here he goes.
Wow,
Earned.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Tailing good in front of us. That's a good cast there.
Many of us, as we've watched television over the years, we have seen the likes of Flip Pallet and Mark Sosin and all these legendary personalities throw to tailing fish, cast to tailing fish, and they always come tight and they're hooked up. So we see tails, those are feeding redfish. Well, they are feeding. They're feeding on something down in the roots of that grass and that mud. They're rooting it out like a bunch of feral hogs. Now they've got a cloud of dust there, and you're trying to move something into their cone of awareness in front of them without spooking them. That is quite the trick, because most of the time I find with tailing fish, you do not catch them at all. I'd rather have active fish that are swimming around that would be willing to chase a lure. But when they're tailing, they can be a lot tougher than fish that are moving around. Not as tough as lockdown fish, but tough. When we got down to the end of the day, when Scotty and I been scratching our heads all day long, because I've gone through almost every lure in that Busby bag. I have a couple rods laid out on the deck, and here comes a group, and they're literally feeding recklessly. And if you make the cast with a weighted jig, you better have a weedless one setting on the deck, because if you hang that up, you do not want to blow this shot. You just lay that one down, pick up that weedless jig, and you throw it, or that, in our case, a Z-Man plastic, and you make that cast. And I wanted a bait that was a high float bait, where when it hit the water, it wouldn't get all the way down. It would just kind of glide around, suspend. And that's what it took, because when that glided in front of them, it was almost like they hit that thing so hard, I felt like I was getting electrocuted.
Got him. Yeah, good job, CA. New penny diesel minnow. How many redfish have been called a new penny, you think?
A few. First one today, though. That group's gonna pop right back up.
Right there.
Yeah, they're gonna reassemble. Steve, don't do that. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff.
Yeah, they're sitting right there in the mouth of that gap.
Another good one.
Nice.
Oh,
We need that.
we needed that. That one built a little confidence.
I'm all about confidence boosters.
I need about 5 more rods up here on the deck, and I think I'm gonna feel really good.
Got it.
Got it.
I get you.
Growing. Man, they are happy right there.
They're fired up right now.
These tailors are such a tough fish because if you spook one, you spook them all. Ask me how I know.
Experience?
Experience today. How many times have I done it today? It's kind of sick to see that many tailing fish.
I love it.
But you know what it makes you want to do?
Catch another one?
Do it again. You always think that whatever you get the bite on is the magic bait. But
no, it's
wow.
because we caught them on a little bit of everything. It's
Yeah.
like some of the, that's like every shot's different. You know, it is what it is.
Well, don't put him on that side. Let's put him off on this side where he's going to be.
Swim away from his buddies. Right?
Yeah, we don't want him telling anybody.
No, no, no.
For you fans that are thinking about going to Mosquito Lagoon, typically it's an easy choice. You're bringing your medium lights, your mediums, and you're fishing all day with anything from 8 to 10 pound braid. But when you've got the wind that we had to deal with in this episode, I literally had to bring everything up a notch to be able to punch across the wind and not have a lot of the lighter baits affected so much by the surface tension dragging the braid out of the zone. It was challenging. When I tell you it was challenging, it was challenging. So a lot of medium and medium heavy gear. We were using braid weights between 10 and 15 pounds in the diamond lineup. Most of my leader links were anywhere from 4 to 5 feet long, and they were basically all 15 pounds. I didn't use anything heavier than 15 pounds for this episode. Now, the 3 baits, after throwing basically everything in our Busby Quick Cubes, really got narrowed down to 3 things. The 4-inch jerk shads from Z-Man, and that was on a 1/12 of an ounce 3/0 rigging hook. The Bugs jig, which is my absolute favorite. We threw both the Redfish curl-tail jig and the Beastie Bug, and those were all quarters. And then lastly, the little Mirrorlure Mini Dean. Absolutely a hover type suspending plug that drives trout crazy, and you'll catch your share of redfish on that rod as well, on that bait. So, if you're thinking about going over Mosquito Lagoon, I would always err on the lighter side of my tackle that I'm bringing over there. But in this case, with the conditions, the way they were, I felt what we brought and how we employed it worked the best for this episode.
Got him. Good job, CA.
All right.
Nice fish.
That's how you do it. You scare them first, Scott. You flush them, then you cast to them.
Pop it down and grab that guy. So they've been sitting around the, like this edge, at least they've been around this, all where all these mats of this drift algae is. We just can't see them because of the way the light is.
Yeah.
Pushing them out.
That front's about here. That may be the one that sends us back to the ranch. Or at least back to the ramp.
Oh, no spot on
No
it.
spot. Super
It's
clean.
a unicorn.
Super clean. That's a good fish.
Stake out so we don't
Power
drift.
pole down.
Power pole down. There's 0 spots on that side. Is there any on that side? A 1 spotter.
1 spot. Kind of a cool fish. That is a cool fish.
You want to do the honors? I'm
I'm gonna let you do the honors.
All right.
Let you do the honors.
Go ahead, no spots. On that side.
Crazy.
You want to release him?
No, you can let them go, and then we'll get this stuff packed up. Another incredible day here in the lagoon.
It's been fun. It always is.
It always is. Although, every time I spend any time with you, it has to blow like this. It's like every show we've ever done has been
cloudy,
like this.
windy.
It wouldn't be a Maccalla episode.
No, it wouldn't be at all. It's always...
If it were easy.
Right? That's kind of like the story of my life. Yeah. Take the hard road all the way.
Yeah, well, mission accomplished once again.
It makes you tough, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Builds character. Builds character.
That's what I tell myself, at least.
I'm going to owe you big after today, because today was not an easy day to pull.
No, but you know what? We made it happen. We had to work for it, but we did it.
You know, we got that power pole trolling motor, that move trolling motor, and it has really changed Flats Class this season. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've done an awful lot of television shows this year just using the power pole move, because it is whisper quiet. It's a ghost. But all that being said, when you're in Mosquito Lagoon, you must pole. There's just not a lot of water. And those guys in the wind, both Scott and Nick Sasek, Captain Nick is a legend over there in the lagoon, and he also fishes out there with me in Louisiana. And I gotta thank these two guys. They did one heck of a job under some pretty tough conditions, really, for us to pull this off. And well, when you got friends that work that hard for you, it makes you want to go back.